Hello and welcome to another inspiring episode of Global Desi Women. I'm your host, Arti Solanki, a real estate broker at Livin Large Realty, a business coach empowering women entrepreneurs, and the author of Hindu Rituals. Today, it is an absolute honor to have Dr. Amita Bhalla on the show. Amita is a physician, artist, a philanthropist whose life's work is centered around healing, both in medicine and through transformative power of art. Today, Dr. Bhalla joins us to discuss Magic Bus, a nonprofit organization that's transforming lives of underprivileged children in India. And they work through sports, mentorship, and education. Another thing I want to say is from painting doors in Italy to showcasing her work in Houston, this journey reflects passion, purpose, and creativity. She's championed self love and inspiring women to embrace their unique gifts. So grab a cup of chai and join us as we explore her story of resilience, compassion, and creating ripples of joy. Welcome to Global Desi Women, Amita. And before we start, I want to ask you if you want me to reference you as Amita or Dr. Bella or Dr. Amita. Please correct me.
Hi, Arti. So nice to be here on your wonderful podcast. I have known you for a very long time, and I am so honored that you asked me to be here. I just think the world of you. So, this is really special. And
Thank
please
you.
refer to me as Amita.
Okay.
And we have that relationship, but even like out in the world, I want to go by Amita. And even though I wear the doctor hat, during my day job, Amita is who I am at my core.
Absolutely. Thank you again. Thank you for joining. I want to start by, really your journey. Before we get into all the philanthropy part of it, I want to ask you, what was it like transitioning from India to pursue the research at Duke University and how that experience shaped your career?
So I went to medical school in India. I come from a family of doctors on my mother's side. So my mother is a doctor. My grandfather was a doctor. Two of my uncles, my mother's brothers, are physicians as well. Me being the only child, I guess it was always just assumed that I would be a physician. My father is an artist. And so I was inclined towards, just science and just having this, nurturing
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
feeling towards others that translated into me choosing medicine as my profession and then art as my hobby,
Wow.
which has now become my therapy. But to answer your question, I knew that I wanted to come to the US, not because I was living a hard life in India. It was just an intuitive pull, to tell you the truth. I visited the US. My parents brought me here on a trip when I was 16. And while leaving, I just had tears in my eyes. And I just did not want to go back. I just felt like I belonged here. And my journey, my life's journey, was meant to be lived in the US. I just cannot describe it any other way.
Wow.
And after medical school, I decided to apply to various institutions for research. And I was lucky enough to be invited to join Dale Purvis's lab, who was the then chairman of neurobiology at Duke University.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. It's so nice that you say that you felt like this was your place, like, you really loved it and you didn't feel like going back. So it is like, sometimes we know it. Like as a realtor, I know I tell my clients all the time, when you see the house you love and you will feel it in your heart, like this is the place for you. Like, and
Yeah.
it's exactly what you're telling me. It makes me feel like I say the same thing to my clients as well.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. And I didn't know what it was then, Arti, But I've realized now, in this decade in my life, that I do have an ability to listen to my intuition. We all have that intuition, right? We all have that gut feeling. And I sense energy very particularly. I feel energy in the environment, with people, and different things. And I didn't know what it was for a long time. And I have learned to recognize that voice more now and follow it more. But I'm so glad that I followed that feeling.
Mm.
Even then, in my early 20s to come here, because it was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Yep, yep. And we're glad you did that because we got to meet in that way, right?
Yes. Blessed to have paths crossed with you as well, Arti.
So I know you wear many hats, like you said, as a physician, artist, philanthropist, wife, a mother of two wonderful boys. How do you balance these different roles and keep yourself grounded?
So that's work in progress, right? I mean, it's actually something I strive for every day. It gets easier with time and just understanding what are the important things to oneself. And that changes with time, right? When we are in the 20s, we are all about career, education, having fun.
Yeah.
When I was in my teens, I was about raising my children. I became a mom when I was 31 for the first time, and then again at 34, establishing career, the family, the home. And then every decade is different. But I feel that over the years, also being blessed with a very supportive husband who has always told me, you have no limits. You are not in a box. There are no boundaries. Every time I thought there was a boundary, he has dismantled those boundaries for me and said, just fly, just do it. I'm here. I got you. So having that support of my husband, we'll be married 27 years next month, knock on wood.
Wow, congrats.
And we met in medical school in India when we were just 17 and
Wow.
18. So we've been together 32 years. So just doing life with him has allowed me the freedom to follow all my desires. There has
That's
been no
fantastic.
regret, when I was a mom and I wanted to stay home, I did that. When there was a cause that I believed in, I did that. When I wanted to follow a career dream, I did that. When I wanted to follow my art, I did that. When I wanted to travel, I did that. With
Awesome.
or without my husband, I've done many solo trips.
Right.
And the balance has come just recently, to tell you the truth, in my late 40s, when I started asking myself, what is the meaning of life? What is my purpose? Why are we here? And these questions, perhaps, in the busyness of life, I did contemplate on them, but I really, really made it my goal to understand and get to the deeper meaning of life just in my
Yeah.
late phase. And I discovered a beautiful meditation practice, yoga, journaling, and made art a disciplinary practice for me where I dedicate time for myself, my solitude, and my art. And just through creating time for myself, whether it's through meditation, art, walks in nature, traveling and reflecting, reading a lot of books and listening to beautiful podcasts like yours, I reflected a lot
Yeah.
and have come to realize that we are all humans having a soul journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
My mission is to live the most authentic life from a soul level. And so it's just, I'm on this journey now. And I always, whenever life gets too busy or chaotic, I'm always asking myself, am I chasing this dream based on my ego? Am I doing this project based on my ego? Or is this something I truly feel called to do from
Yeah.
my soul? Is this furthering my life's purpose of spreading joy in the world around me?
Yeah.
And so, as I ask those questions, life is balancing itself out.
Yeah.
And I find that I'm reaching for things that I truly feel intuitively and divinely called to.
Hmm.
And I'm getting better at saying no to things that I don't.
Yeah. And it's so true, because I personally feel after a certain age, we all have a little bit of a shift in our thinking, in our realizing what we really want in life, right? Because there are times when, like you said, we're more about enjoying our life, building our careers. Then there's a phase we're taking care of our kids. And then slowly we think about, oh my God, half the life is going by so fast. And now I want to think about myself a little bit. What is, like you said, my purpose of life? What gives me the joy? And a lot of times we take life for granted, right? And we do not realize that there are small, precious moments in our life that we need to cherish more than going for running around like, crazy and like, I want this, I want this, I want this. But there are simple things in our life that we really need to take time and cherish those moments. And I personally have been doing that for a while now, and I've been trying to get more and more, I guess I would say, paying more attention to what my needs are and what makes me happy and what I want to do. I feel like if I want to do something, I want to do it now rather than saying, okay, when I get this age or when I am, see, retiring or when I do this, I'll do that. No, I think I want to do. I think after my mom passed away, there were a lot of things that I rethought and changed a lot of habits of mine and really started living each day, each moment that we want to really be happy about. So
Yeah.
you said it really beautifully, and I can really connect with that.
Yeah, there always seems to be this moment of contrast or a negative moment that serves to be a catalyst for the
Hmm.
greatest discoveries in our life and sets us on the path that we were meant to be. In your case, it was the sad passing of your mother. And in
Hmm.
my case, also had some things happen in my life that really made me vulnerable enough, to crack me open and start asking those questions. And ultimately, it pointed me to love myself more. A lot of times we go through life, none of us had a perfect childhood, right? None of us. And we do the best we can as parents, but I'm sure we are not perfect parents. And
Yeah.
hopefully our children won't need therapy because of us.
Yeah.
But we do our best. We all do our best. And our parents did their best. And our grandparents did their best, and so on and so forth. So I was living life, looking outside a lot in the first most, at least three and a, up until I think my late 30s to early 40s, I was looking externally for validation. And it was only when I started looking within, everything I was looking for outside of me was, I realized,
Them.
inside of me.
Yep.
You know, the love I was looking for, it's all inside because I was looking for these things through work and through various projects I was doing. But
Yeah.
it was all inside of me and through relationships,
Yeah.
friendships, you know. And when you start loving yourself, and to me, that means not just the meditation practice or the yoga or the journaling or the reflections or the art I talked about. It also starts with nourishing the body, Be mindful of the food we eat, might be mindful about the thoughts we allow, really taking care of our bodies, whether it's walking or going to the gym or anything in between. So it's really taking care of the mind, body, and soul and filling our cups so that we can bring the best version of ourselves to the people who we love and the world around us. Because without that, we really cannot achieve everything that we came here to achieve.
Absolutely. 100%. You're so correct. So So I know that you connected with the Art of Healing and Sunshine Kids. Would you like to share a little bit about that, with our audiences?
Sure. So, the Art of Healing, it's an organization that was founded by Lori and Isaac Reichman.
Mhm.
Um, it it was founded here in Houston, and it's a beautiful organization that I have been very blessed to be associated with for the past few years. It gives opportunities to physician artists and artists, as in painters, musicians, singers, and so on and so forth, to really bring their art to a population that would benefit from creativity. So in the past few years, Art of Healing has partnered with Sunshine Kids that really supports the needs of children undergoing cancer therapy and also their families. And be physicians, and I'm just one of many physicians who does creative projects with the children in the Sunshine Kids program.
Wow.
And in fact, I just did one last month. And then the object we create is auctioned off at the Art of Healing Gala that usually happens in November. And at the gala, there's, a lot of philanthropic souls open up their wallets for a wonderful cause. And then these creative items are auctioned off. And again, the money goes to Sunshine Kids. There's also creative summer camps that are held by Art of Healing for these
Mm,
children. For me personally, that's really the highlight of my year is these workshops
yeah.
because interacting with these children who have gone through adversity at such a young age, I don't know what it is, Arti. It's like it it speeds up their evolution. They're so just in focused on their mission. They're
Yeah.
so aware of why they came.
Yeah.
And I just always leave these workshops feeling just my cup runneth over. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm so touched by their kindness and their generosity.
Yeah.
This past workshop we were making, it was right after Valentine's Day, the Saturday after Valentine's Day. And so we were making heart themed projects. And this
Oh,
one little boy, he wanted his art to be auctioned, but he didn't want it to go over $15, he said. And we
wow.
were like, just $15? And he was like, yes, because I want art to be accessible to everybody.
My goodness, that's so touching.
And
Oh
he put a
my
little
God.
post-it on his art saying 15. He was so particular because he was like, original art needs to be able to be owned by anybody. It shouldn't be expensive. And I was like, wow, who are you?
I know.
You know?
Wow.
So it's just been a joy these past few years, being associated with the arts of healing and all the wonderful things that have come out of it.
That is really touching. I'm like, that is
I
so
know.
sweet.
And I
My
could go on
goodness.
and on. But the best is, creativity. It lights up these kids.
Yeah.
And it's a two-way street. I feel like I leave getting way more than I've given the children. But, it's for a few hours, the children can detach from whatever
Yeah.
is going on in their reality and just get engrossed in just creating something. And
Yeah.
that's what
They
I
just enjoy
experience.
it, right?
Yeah,
They just
when I
love
go to
it and
this
enjoy it.
Exactly. When I go to my studio, it's like I detach 100% from real life. And
Yeah.
it's such a meditative experience. And these children experience the same. They're
Same.
so happy. It's just a joy to be able to, bring joy
Yeah.
to others through creativity.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah. So, talking about now Magic Biz, now that's another organization that works with children in India that are, that come from a very underprivileged community. And they're struggling. There are a lot of, I would say, there are a lot of times it's easier to pull somebody down, but it's hard to uplift someone. And I feel like Magic Bus is doing such a phenomenal thing by helping them, uplifting them, and bringing them out from that environment and getting them on their feet and their whole journey. I mean, like, I'm just an outsider of the Magic Bus because I just come to the gala every year, and I see this amazing stories and amazing, they bring women and kids from India that have really transformed their lives. But tell us a little bit more and how you got involved in this organization, and tell us a little bit more about it.
Sure. And you're no outsider, Arti. You're very much an insider to Magic Bus, such an integral part of the galas with bringing your energy and your philanthropy too. So much
Thank you.
appreciated.
Thank you.
The way I got involved was many years ago when my husband and I were looking for a cause to give back to. We gravitated towards wanting to understand needs in our home country.
Mm-hmm.
And of all the organizations we researched, Magic Bus stood out for a number of reasons. Obviously, the work that they do, supporting children all the way to livelihood, from childhood to livelihood, and that too through sports-based curriculum that helps teach the children life skills was something unique to us. Also, when you look at, the amount of money that Magic Bus actually puts directly to the causes is astoundingly high, compared to other organizations. So that was really important for us, the efficiency in the organization and the ability to keep the overhead very low, the transparency, which we found with Magic Bus, and also especially that it was founded in India, which is our hometown.
Yeah.
And a story that tugged at my husband Karan's heart was when the founder of Magic Bus, Matthew Spacey, founded this organization in 1998. It was founded in a club in an upscale part of Mumbai called the Bombay Gymkhana.
Yeah.
And my husband used to go to this very club as a child himself. And he used to play rugby there. And he used to see the children, the underprivileged children, on the other side of the fence looking in.
Yeah.
And he used to wonder, where do they live? Why can't they play with me? How can I help them, as a child? Matthew Spacey was having that same experience.
Yeah.
And he decided, because the kids were longingly looking, from the other side of the fence, like just longingly looking at these adults playing rugby. And they were like, how can we have that much fun?
Yeah.
So Matthew literally rented a bus and took them to Shivaji Park, I believe, the big park in Bombay, to play rugby. And he used to do that on the weekend. And that's why it was called Magic Bus. So that was in 1998. And fast forward to now, where the organization has reached, in the 2023 to 2024 period, I believe, and don't quote me on these numbers, but it's in all the states in India, and it has reached 1.8 million adolescents.
Wow.
And additionally, there are I think over 125,000 youth who are enrolled in livelihood program.
Yeah.
And so the numbers are staggering. It's reached now from this Bombay Gymkhana to all over the country.
Wow. And it's an amazing, like I said, he's been doing an amazing job. I mean, I've met Matthew a couple of times myself at the gala, and oh my God, just phenomenal person. And what a personality. I mean, I think he has the charisma of drawing people towards him. And really, you can see I guess, his vision of he wants to do so much, and it's just amazing the way he started. And I've heard this journey before, and it's just every time I hear it, I feel like, wow, it's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, talk about being, a passionate, authentic being. I
Hmm.
mean, we all have these feelings, right? Like, oh my God, what can I do to help? What should I do? I wish I
Yeah.
could. But how many of us actually do it?
Do it. Yeah.
And, I always say it's easy sometimes, more easy to just write a check, but to actually do the work.
Yeah.
And this was a foreigner, mind you, who had come to India for
Yeah.
employment. And sometimes it's the people who are, living there, you become numb to it when you see the disparity, when you see the underprivileged children, at the time, don't see it now as much, thankfully. But the homelessness on the street, the children begging for alms at a stoplight and things like that. And obviously the slums all around you. I'm ashamed to say that I was one of those numbed ones.
Yeah.
And it was only when I went back years later that it hit me. This is like feels so jarring. Like you want to help everyone you see on the streets. But Matthew did it, and he's just such an inspiring human.
He is. He's definitely is. So, breaking the cycle of poverty, that takes more than just a financial support, obviously. But what do you believe is the most crucial factor in empowering young girls and helping them build their better future? I know their program has a lot to offer, and like you said, but I think they have a system of how they work from, because it's all about also not just changing the mindset of that kid, but I guess the whole family of that kid, right? Because their upbringings, their environment, like I said before, it's more of pulling them down than empowering them up. So what do you believe is the most crucial factor in this?
So I'll tell you a little story. And I believe it was 2018 or 19, I'm not sure, probably 2018. We went to Magic Bus, one of the Magic Bus communities in Mumbai,
Mm.
along with a few other board members. And it was the first time, having been born and raised in Mumbai, that I had gone inside the slums. I visited the homes. We sat on the floor and had amazing lunches. These beautiful families had cooked lovely food for us. And in talking to the children and the parents in the Magic Bus program, I noticed that they had a mind shift that was
Yeah.
different from the other families that were not in the program.
Yeah.
The other families that were not in the program were still stuck in the cycle. The matrix of, oh, let me send my child to the shipyard to collect the metal instead of sending them to school because that will make a quick buck. The families in the Magic Bus program, they would rather send their children to school now and not make that quick buck because they believed in the power of education. The true force that would break this cycle for them, they knew, as education. And that was the shift. And it kudos to these community leaders in the Magic Bus program because they are the ones who go door to door to door and educate families. And the great thing about Magic Bus is a lot of this messaging, predominantly this messaging is happening during the after school sports activities
Mm.
where the children, this concept is really explained to the children because the children are the key to changing the future, correct?
Yeah.
So they are taught about just all in play, right? Because the children are there to play. They think I'm here to have a
They're
good
just
time,
having
which
to,
is the
yeah.
intention. So if you want to come to the sports activity, you need to go to school. You need to get good grades. And so they're motivated to do that. But while they're there, the community leaders and the coaches, they're talking about gender equality. They're talking about challenging these girls participate in sports. It's not just for boys. It's for everybody. You can compete with the boys. You can be leaders. So there are children, in this community that, I don't know, I'll talk about it later. It's about 60 girls that we help support. One of them has now become, Shiksha has become a coach. And she
Wow.
started in the program years ago. So fostering this inclusivity for girls with diverse background, including those with disability, which in the past the parents would have just left them at home.
Yeah.
Promoting also physical fitness,
Yeah.
sorry about that,
Yeah, that's fine.
promoting physical fitness, mental well-being, educating them about nutrition, hygiene, reproductive health, how
Yeah.
to, reduce diseases. And also, parents are invited to these sessions.
Yeah.
So parents get to hear this as well. And parents therefore become invested. A lot of times you will see when the Magic Bus kids are having a sports session, parents will be maybe having their own session,
Yeah.
So through conversations and education, slowly but surely, there's a change happening.
Yeah. And I'm sure you all go through a lot with the parents as well because their mentality is like, no, we need the kids to start making earnings early enough. And, we need support for the financially because they're all working just pennies a day. So they want to make sure that they're bringing in some funds in the house too. So it must be a lot of convincing going on to make those parents understand that it's very important to break the cycle, right? So it's not just the kids, but I feel like you all go through the process of making the parents understand so much that otherwise it's just like us, right? If somebody came and told us that, hey, your kids can't do this, you should be doing this for your kids, and we would be like, I think I know better. Like, our first instinct would be
Yes,
like, I think I know better what I want to do with my kids or what I feel is right for my kids. And I think they also go through that same process, but to get them to understand, I feel like Magic Bus does such a phenomenal, amazing role in that because talking to those parents, I feel like that's a number one key because kids would be absolutely ready to enjoy, have fun, play the sports, but to convince their parents to let them do that is a whole another story.
absolutely. You are so right. And also, sometimes there are incidents happening in these communities. In fact, there was one last year that really set everyone back and the program back a bit because parents were then not, they felt unsafe, right?
Mm,
Everyone felt unsafe in the community. So they don't want their kids to go to do the sports program. They want them to come
yeah,
straight home from school. They don't want to send them to school because of what had happened. There was a terrible incident that happened in one of these communities. So
right.
reassuring the parents, right? Not just educating them, but reassuring them. And this is a very critical job that's done by the coaches and the community leaders. And just establishing the faith, between the parents and the Magic Bus community leaders is key, is vital to getting the children coming back to the sports sessions and staying in the program. But now, you know what, Arti, it's come a long way because the parents have a lot of the majority of the parents in these communities are buying in more and more into the program because they have seen the results. The program has
Yeah,
been there long enough for them to see that their neighbors' kids have making successful living,
yeah,
so that has definitely helped. And I've spoken to so many parents. In fact, the last time I was there was last year in January. I spoke to this mother who said, I had seen my child was such an introvert. She wouldn't even talk at home.
wow,
Lack of self-esteem and low confidence, overbearing father, just scared
yeah,
child. Ever since she's gone to the Magic Bus program, her mother said, it's like a whole new child, just this flower in full
yeah,
bloom because of the confidence, because
yeah,
she's winning in sports, because the coaches and community leader are telling her, you can do anything.
yeah,
And so it's really beautiful to see. And there are also, the centers there in the communities, embedded in the communities that are actually helping these children look into the future,
Yeah.
into the skill side of things.
Yeah.
So that's really exciting. And in the program itself, there in the Bombay Port Trust program, and there is a group of 60 girls that I don't know what the right word is, supporting, I guess is the right word. But I have seen a change in all of them.
Yeah.
And that change has been they have a dream. There is no
They
limit to
they
that
kind of
dream.
like build an ambition for themselves as they, grow and learn, and they see the real world, like, how much it makes a difference. And I guess each successful story, each successful person that's coming out of that Magic Bus program, it leaves a story behind for somebody else to look after. And like, they
Absolutely.
look up to that and they're like, okay, yes, I want to do this too. And it's just becoming a cycle of success stories. And
Absolutely.
sorry, go
I'm
ahead, go ahead.
I was just going to say you're so right about that. And also they're traveling, right? Because they're playing football and
Mm,
then they're traveling to other parts of Bombay or outside Bombay. Some of these girls in the past have traveled to the UK and to the US, UK for games and US for a soccer camp. So they're seeing the world. They're seeing what the real world is outside these little communities they're living in. And
yeah.
they're meeting people who are successful. And even now with the girls that I know, the 60 of them, we do virtual mentorship sessions with them.
Mm.
And so this last session, there was a very bright young lady from Mumbai, one of my friend's daughters, Niharika, who is in law school. And she came on and talked to the girls about her journey. What got her interested in law, what courses, what subjects she did in high school to get her on that path. What is she experiencing now? What are her goals for the future? And so then after that session, the girls were so inspired. They're like, wow, I can be a lawyer. If
Yeah.
Niharika can do it, I can do it. Now, these are the courses I'm going to take in school. And, it starts a conversation.
Yeah.
And my son Vivek is actually also very involved with these girls. He has, he does some summer jobs and he earns money. He's given them shoes. He's bought each of them shoes in the past because he couldn't believe it that they didn't have sports shoes.
Yeah.
And some of them didn't have good footwear. He's like, Mom, this was like, I think in 2021 when
Mm.
we all were going as all four of us, Karan, me, and Viraj and Vivek, our two boys, were going to visit the community in Bombay Port Trust. He reached out to one of the community leaders, Parvati, and said, what are their needs? And she said, they don't have shoes. And Viraj at the time was writing in the process of writing a cookbook of our family recipes, and he was selling it to earn money for the food crisis. And so when we went, Viraj donated money and he bought a nutritious food and ration for the families of these children. And Vivek got a pair of shoes for each of them because he said, Mom, I can't believe it. Here we're buying shoes for every sport that I do. There's a different shoe. There's a basketball shoe and a soccer shoe and all of this. You know how it is here. And he's like,
Yeah.
these girls don't even have proper footwear. Like he couldn't fathom that.
Yeah.
So when we went, it just touched my heart that,
Yeah.
these girls just were overjoyed just by
Oh.
receiving this pair of shoes, and then the boys got to play with them, and it just like was one of the most beautiful moments. And then after that we went to have tea in a local chai shop, and Karan and I were asking the boys, what they thought about of the experience we had just had, and they both said this is the best experience we've ever had in our life.
Wow. Yeah. That's so
So,
amazing.
and that's the power of you know, being engaged with just helping people, I guess it does more for us than it does for them in a
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
and just the feeling it generates
Yeah.
of,
It's the inner joy and the peace that
yeah,
we get by seeing somebody else smile. It's
yeah,
just makes you feel so good, right?
yeah. It's such a feeling. And I'm so glad my children got to experience it at a young age.
Yeah.
This was like 2021. So Viraj was 16 and Vivek was 13 then. Because, that feeling is an addictive feeling and you just
It
want,
is.
it
It
just
is.
makes you want to help others.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. So tell us a little bit about the upcoming gala that's coming up. And I also wanted to touch back with a few things about Magic Best was they have different programs. One, we already talked about the livelihood program, but there's also another youth program, I believe. There's two different programs. Or is there a mentorship program? That's for us as being a mentor.
So
Or
there's a
is there
child. There's a childhood to life. It's basically the mission is childhood to livelihood. So there are
okay.
different programs, within this
Mm,
framework. So some are, these sports-based programs, right? That's
right.
after school sports. And really the messaging happens during the sports. The
I
sports are
see.
keeping the children in school because, like I said earlier, they're motivated to get good grades and go to school because they want to play.
Right.
And sports are, the rate of female marriages in these communities now is zero because
Mm,
they're in these programs and they're educated about these things. And obviously, we have the buy in of the family with raising the awareness of child marriages and stuff like that. Then there are mentorship programs. So, in the framework of this childhood to livelihood, there
there are
are
different
different programs
different programs.
depending on the ages of the child.
I see. Okay, gotcha. Because I was going through it and I was like, that seems like there are different programs within the Magic Bus, but okay, now I have a little bit more understanding of what it is. So tell us about
Yeah.
the gala that's coming up and how anybody can help or support the organization.
Sure. So the gala it happens every year and this year it's on the 22nd of March and it's at
Coming
the
up.
luxurious Post Oak Hotel. So it's an opportunity, really, it's an evening of fun, right? An evening of dressing up for a cause. There are a lot of folks that I meet in Houston at the gala once a year. It's always nice to hug old friends, but it's really for a great cause. Like you alluded to earlier, there are a lot of children that come from the programs in India and talk about their life journey and the impact that Magic Bus has had on them, which is always my favorite part.
I was just about to say that's my favorite part of it too.
Yes,
It touches me so much. It gives me goosebumps every time they bring up a kid and they tell their story. It's just, oh my God,
yes,
it's just so good.
goosebumps. Now my Goldens have decided, I have two big golden retrievers. They're right at my feet. So if you see a snout, it's them.
That's fine.
But so yeah, so to talk about the gala, you can there are different. I would love for everyone to buy a table at the gala. It's around the corner in 2 weeks
Yeah.
or less now. And there are
Yep.
different categories. Tables start at 10,000. There is a patron level at 15,000, an advocate level at 25, an ambassador level at 50,000, and a visionary table or sponsorship that one could do for 100,000. And if you really want to just buy tickets and do not want to do the table, that is possible as well. I would urge everyone to I think there are just a few tables left. So if y'all want to go, I would urge your listeners to contact Anya Pandari. Her email is Anya, AANYA, at magicbususa.org.
And we'll also put all the information in our description of the podcast. with the website and contact information so people can buy their tickets or donate or, support. And I'm sure, there are lots of volunteer opportunities as well, not just during the gala, but also as for the Magic Bus itself, the organization itself. I would really tell my audience that please go check out their website and see how you can help, because even for the youth, like the young kids can take part of it as like in the summer, and they can not only just, it's not just about giving the community, but also they will learn so much. Like you said, your boys were like so touched by the feeling of how they felt. So it's not just about giving, but the feeling that they'll have and the things that they'll learn from this is just no match to that, like absolutely they'll get so much from it. So I highly, highly encourage everybody to visit their website and check out all the volunteering opportunities there. And if you can, donation is always, always, always highly encouraged. Once again, they do really phenomenal job with these kids. And I've seen over the years all the galas that I've come to, and I like we talked, all these fantastic stories that we hear, and especially the kids that come from the situation and when they share their life journey. Oh my God, some of the stories I know one time I've heard, it was a couple of years back when there was a girl that came in and she was talking about how her parents wanted her to have an early marriage. And I think her sisters or her friends had already been married and with kids, and she was the same age. But somehow she broke the cycle, and now she's with Magic Bus for so many years, and now she has a job and she's doing so well. And it was like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, it's just so phenomenal.
Yeah, that was Utkarsha, I believe. She actually went to Ruparel College, which was the college I went to too,
Uh,
many years prior to her. Yeah, she's an amazing, amazing young woman now. But that's the story you will hear again and again in this program, which is what's so inspiring. And many a times, when we want, right, we all want to do something to help others.
yeah,
I just urge your listeners, like you so eloquently said, look at the website and come to the gala, because at the gala you will understand really by listening to the children. Also, there will be a lot of information shared about what exactly Magic Bus does and where your dollars will be going. There's so much transparency in that area.
yeah.
And then you can make a decision, is this
Perfect.
the cause that you feel called to? And you can then decide if you want to donate or not. And no donation is small. And one great way to donate is by buying the fantastic or bidding on the fantastic auction items, both the live and the
Yes,
silent auctions.
yes,
Well, make a donation and get, an amazing trip for you
yeah.
and your friends or family, or there are always lots and lots of fun items. So thank you, Arti, for shedding
Yeah.
light and bringing awareness to this cause, and also
Thank
for
you for
highlighting.
doing. No, I think thank you, because you all do such an amazing job with it and work so hard for it, and you take part in it. It's just amazing. I don't go too much to India. I don't travel that much to India, but next time maybe when I go, I'll definitely visit one of those, the
The
organization and take part
communities.
in it. Yes, I definitely will do that. But as we wrap up today's episode, I want to thank you, Amita, so much for sharing this incredible journey with us. Like I said before, your passion, empowering underprivileged children through the Magic Bus, and your dedication to making a difference is truly inspiring. To all our listeners, I hope today's conversation has sparked new ideas and motivation to give back, embrace your passion, and create a ripple of joy in your own way. If you'd like to learn more about Magic Best, like I said, I'll put down all the information, links, and the ways you can get involved. And as well as if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a review, If you have any questions or if you have an inspiring story to share, contact us and we would love for you to have on our podcast. Until next time, keep shining, keep growing, and keep making difference in this life and be kind to yourself and others. Thank you so much, Amita.
Thank you, Arti. Thank you for all you do to inspire us. Thank you for having me. And thanks to all your listeners.
Thank you.